accepting Jesus, fasting, abstaining, and fulfilling rituals. Going to church will be looked upon by many as a kind of cleansing of their record and conscience on Sunday for all their bad deeds committed during the week, the prior week, which will allow them to resume their old ways the following week. People will believe that confession, enduring periodic attendance at church services, or something akin to same, will purify their record and provide a fresh start. Such concepts could promote antisocial behavior as easily as could the belief propounded by fundamentalists that good deeds are irrelevant to salvation. After all, if you can clean your record every so often, or permanently clean it in the case of eternal security, why be concerned about how dirty it gets? 8. As outlined in Matthew, fundamentalists view antisocial behavior as a result of things from within rather than from without. Internal makeup rather than external conditions will be seen as responsible for bad behavior. They will fail to realize that if this were true, then most criminal activity would not occur in the poorer sections of society, and social stability would not be most prominent in the most affluent areas. Unbeknownst to them, what they're really saying is that those who live in high crime areas, or at least the higher crime areas, are inherently bad. Something's wrong with them rather than their environment. Most antisocial activity, and here we're primarily talking about criminal behavior, has far more to do with the conditions in which people are raised than something innate or inborn. Prosperous people have far more at stake and are less inclined to engage in antisocial behavior out of pure self-interest, if for no other reason. They have far more to lose if they become bad actors. 9th, because of their belief in original sin, strict biblicists will view all people as inherently corrupt and associate with others on a basis of hypocrisy. While outwardly smiling and exhibiting all of the expected social graces, inwardly they will look upon people as pieces of dung, to quote Martin Luther, fit only to be changed as deemed preferable. 10. Believing themselves to possess constant eternal truths, they won't be open to change or new ideas, even though any qualified scientist knows that there's nothing so permanent as change. As is often discussed in free thought literature, adherents to Jesus will feel that they have the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The inevitable byproduct of this philosophy will be intolerance, with all of the accompanying war and conflict. Because of promised, number 11, because of promised rewards in the next world, they will be far more prone to endure mistreatment in this one. Fighting back simply won't be their cup of tea. They will dislike and avoid labor unions, for example. Believing miracles and supernatural intervention will deliver them from their problems, they will be more inclined to accept and endure than act and alter. Because of verses such as those found in Psalms, this is number 12, biblicists will believe that corrupt people will ultimately get theirs. The outcome has been written on the wind by God, so to speak, and one need not act or be concerned. God will see it through. 13. Because of statements in the book of John and the book of Acts, as well as comments by Peter and Paul blaming the Jews, all of these are blaming the Jews for the death of Jesus, anti-Semitism will be hard to avoid. 14. Anyone taking the Bible seriously will have superstitious mythological views on many subjects outside of the Bible, which can only act as a terrible retardant on rational thought and scientific advancement. They will tend to see messages and signs everywhere. God is doing this and telling them that. The devil caused this and the angels performed that. It will be hard for them to keep their imaginations under control. 15. Because of the importance placed on the old law, the mechanical application of stringent laws with little or no consideration for mitigating circumstances reminiscent of the Ayatollah will be carried over into modern society. The Reconstructionist movement that is currently in vogue, for example, reflects this quite well. Its followers actually want to go back to the old law of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Imagine applying that to modern society. 16. People who rely on prayer and outside forces to cope with life's troubles rather than their own efforts are easy to manipulate, especially by those who make a pretense of leading them to the promised land. They will tend to rely upon saviors rather than their own wisdom and capabilities. Instead of seeing groups and organizations as the motive force of history, they will look for a Moses, a Jesus, a John Wayne, a Muhammad, a Martin Luther King, a John F. Kennedy, or some other hero on a white horse to make the right decisions for them.